Hello and welcome to the Bel-E Scratch podcast. I am your host, Bel-E.
And I am your co-host, Scratch.
And today, well, I went on an adventure.
You sure did.
Yeah. A big ol' adventure.
Might as well.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a tendency to get stuck in a rut and, not get outside of it.
Well, that happens to us all.
Yeah. But lately I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go places and, just get it all out of my system.
Good luck with that.
If anything, it serves...
Well, I mean by good luck with getting it out of your system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Life is a drug, and it's great.
Oh, I know. But what had happened was, yeah, this has definitely been the year of I go out to do stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy for.
Well, I mean,
it serves as inspiration for getting that dream job, so I can basically do that on a weekly basis if I so chose in the future.
Yeah.
Like the guy that has that dream job that I'm in contact with, he can plan a 3 to 4 day vacation every week if he so chose.
If he so chose, yeah.
And I'm like, yes. If he wanted, he could schedule like a month to 2 month vacation.
Well, I mean,
out of the whole year.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't take people I don't do things with people. I don't do my job like on, December and November. That's it. Don't call me, don't contact me unless the place burns to the ground.
That type of job, yes.
And I'm just
that option.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yes, I need this in my life.
Well, that's why I always talk about it. It isn't necessarily how much you make; it's value.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's value. How are you valuable for what you do or what you put in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I can doing what I do. I can trade up and make more money.
Sure.
But then I'd be working like twice the hours, 2 to 3 times the hours. And to me, although I would be making more money,
it just wouldn't be worth it.
To me, it wouldn't be worth it. So I choose to work less. I'm interested in on the value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. That's kind of the same mentality I got when I took this new job.
Yeah.
Is technically I'm making a little bit less than the warehouse, but it's like so many minutes from my house, and that just saves on gas automatically.
Right.
So that already just cuts out, $60 to $100 a month.
Oh yeah, well,
Give or take.
you definitely be
120 even max, depending on gas prices.
So whatever you lost in wage,
I made up for.
You made up for in
the gas.
Saving expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that's a fair trade.
I think it's a fair trade. Once again, we talk about value.
Yeah, exactly. So, and plus the job isn't complicated per se. I just don't know things. That's the thing I'm getting around. I just don't know the job. But, no, yesterday, I went to a town, not to give away the location, because then that'd give a location away for us.
Yeah.
It's about an hour away. About an hour.
About an hour.
Yeah. And it's in a mountainous region. So I went up there and, went up there, around 10. I probably should have left earlier, but I was asleep and I needed it. Got up there and it's like, oh, this place is quite quaint. It's not as big and bustling as the place I'm used to. And even then, the place that I'm used to is not particularly bustling. It's not like New York City.
No, not on that urban scale. No, not necessarily.
No. It's busy, but not like that.
It definitely has, the place you visited definitely has...
it has prospects to becoming that.
Right. Right. And, where we're from,
Yeah.
there's a lot of activity along,
Mm-hmm.
I really do enjoy these older towns that have that main street.
Yeah, like an actual main street.
Like an actual main street, an actual town.
Yeah.
Where all, these old buildings.
There was definitely a lot of older people.
That was built 30, 40, 50 years ago and had, and now have been refurbished into,
more of a gentrification type thing.
A little more gentrification, a little more bougie type situation.
Yeah, I like that. I don't like so bougie to where you basically turn it into a gated community, but I don't want it so not bougie where I don't feel safe going there, you see?
That's correct. That has a lot to do with it for me.
Yeah, I like in between, And hey, if
I like it to have a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, a little.
But I don't want it to be dangerous.
No.
I've done that.
Like, Nashville, Tennessee had an edge, but I wouldn't say it was dangerous per se. I mean, wrong parts of town are wrong parts of town. I mean, and all places have those.
All places have those, yes.
There's a difference between, oh, hey, I'm actually on the wrong side of town versus, oh my God, I can't live here or else I'm going to be shot going out the front door.
Right. Right.
So
yeah, it's rough when you look like everybody in the joint.
Sure.
And the weapons come out. You're in a rough part of town.
Yeah, I try not to do that.
Yeah.
But what I did was, several things happened yesterday. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The main thing I wanted to do was go up and down Main Street and go to like the local foresty areas.
Yeah.
Because unless I drive completely out of the way, there's not really a local forest trail, especially one that's less populated. That's kind of the thing for me is I want it to be like this national park trail sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be teeming with people. Like, I want to be able to sit down along the path, maybe like on a rock somewhere and sit down and just enjoy.
You want the movement, you don't want traffic.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I like driving. I love driving. I hate traffic.
Right.
Because I want speed. Yes. Speed is key. And I also want to have the option to slow down. I don't want a bunch of people demanding I slow down.
Right.
Karen. So that's what I was after when I went up to this town. So I straight up went up and down Main Street. Like, picked one side of it, went up that, crossed over to the other side, went down that side.
Saw the shops.
Went into some that, I liked, what they offered. There was like a hippie store there. Of course, I bought stuff.
Yeah.
I bought a tapestry. It's in the bag somewhere. A couple shirts. And there was also a tea shop.
Yes, there was a tea shop.
Which I spent a good solid hour in there.
Yeah.
The owner had Taiwanese red tea.
Ooh.
Which he served to me and another guest, as well as himself in a, I don't speak Chinese. I think it's as a gongshou. It's a particular way of serving tea. It's a very slow, relaxed way of tea. Because in the West, typically you just put the tea leaves in a bag, dip it in some hot water for like, I don't know, however many minutes, and then that's it.
What, is it more of a ritual?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Basically, the way this works is okay, you have your cup, your serving cup.
Right.
The cup that you drink out of.
Right.
You have a pitcher of some sort.
Yeah.
To pour the tea into your serving cup. And then there is a cup with a lid.
Yeah.
Okay. So you put the tea leaf, or no. This is what you do. You take your hot water. You put it in the cup with the lid. You swish it around.
Just hot water.
Just hot water.
Okay.
To season the cup like you would do cast iron.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, you wash that out.
Yeah.
You put the tea leaves in there.
Okay.
Then you put hot water in there.
Right.
Swirl it around. You put it in the pitcher. You put that tea, in that first infusion, into the serving cups. You wash that out.
Really?
That first infusion is to wake up the tea.
Oh, okay.
leaves.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
It.
Sure.
After that, you put more hot water in the tea in the cup with the lid. Put that in the pitcher. Because then, the lid separates the tea leaves, so you're not eating while you're drinking.
Sure.
Then you put the tea from the pitcher into your serving cups, and then you start drinking. You can, smell the cups, smell the lid, because each infusion will change color.
Oh,
not drastically change color. It'll change the color, the texture, the taste.
Whatever the serving amount of liquid is, you put that in, and then that comes out, and then you add more.
Yes. And then you keep doing it. It's not like a one-time infusion like bagged tea. You can do it. Some bagged tea can do upwards of 15 infusions.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is why I'm really into tea culture. This is definitely more of like a Chinese, Taiwanese way of serving tea. A little bit of Japanese too, although they have their own complicated rituals as well.
Right.
But this is stuff that I'm into. Not the ritual per se, but the fact that if you put effort into it, you get rewarded for it.
Tea is it's just one of those amazing natural compounds.
Yes.
That have a dramatic impact on you.
I know.
And I would say to everyone that anyone that indulges in that type of tea, there is a positive outcome.
Oh, yeah. Because that stuff got me high.
Wait a minute. Was that the CBD?
The CBD tea? I did buy some, but that wasn't it. I thought it was until he said it. I was like, oh, never mind then. But no, he actually mentioned something, the tea shop owner mentioned something about getting tea drunk.
Really?
You can do that, apparently, and it hit me like a damn truck. Because I was 5 cups in, and I was feeling warm and toasty, because it was just pouring rain outside previously. So it was good timing that I found the shop.
That sounds like an awesome scene.
Uh-huh.
Just outside the door, with the rain pattering on the concrete and the asphalt.
Yeah, it was pouring rain. I had an umbrella, thankfully.
That's beautiful.
And then I find the tea shop in the midst of this little impromptu storm, and my jeans are soaking wet because I was wearing sandals. Thank God I wasn't wearing actual shoes.
Sure.
And initially I ordered a cup to basically steel me against the storm, and then the tea owner invited me to sit down with this other dude, and we just talked back and forth, talking about tea.
That's cool.
The only thing that I didn't care for. Oh, this is gonna bring up some issues. I can already tell. But,
woo!
Okay, here's the thing. This is kind of a weird dynamic.
No. You gotta let it out.
Hang on, I am.
Right.
Okay. On the one hand, have we said that we are potentially seminal?
On here?
Yes. If not,
I don't think
just
specifically.
Did.
No.
We've said we're big people in that we turn.
We might
red
have
in
given
the sun.
possible inclinations that we might be Native American.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we've been specific about tribe.
Okay, we think not super sure, but have a good indication.
Bloodline,
Rob. Bloodline.
We
bloodline wise.
We do go back to Florida man.
Yes, we are the descendants of Florida man.
At least for me personally, 50%. You 25%. So yeah. Yeah,
no, I get it. I'm just like, I think the Florida man myth goes back even further, because I remember encountering a historical Seminole figure, a particular chief.
Yes.
I forget his name. I think that was the OG Florida man. Because when there was I remember the one thing I remember was, aside from leading guerrilla warfare in the Florida Glades, when I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was the actual U.S. government or conquistadors or the French, probably the French. But basically, a group of white people or non-natives came to him and said, "Hey, look, you're gonna surrender, and these are the terms." And he fucking stabs the table. Told him no. Now you tell me that's not some Florida man shit.
It's definitely some Florida man shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying this particular
it's
chief,
just the very nature of people that come from that region.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, there was a time.
He's the OG Florida man. I'm telling you.
You know, and there's so much that has to do with nurture. There's so much that has to do with nature. But there definitely was a combination of people that came out of resisting. I'm not going to say oppression, because that sounds really heavy and negative.
Domestication?
Domestication.
Would that be a better term?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because I mean, you know, I mean, it's everybody wants to cast you know, when someone outside arrives and begins to almost inoculate the local population to the outside influence. There's going to be, so far as I can't speak for the rest of the country.
Sure.
But so far as the East Coast and the Southeast, these people went into the swamps of Florida.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding that what came out of these people who were resisting came the Seminole Nation. That's my understanding. Who
potentially, technically, have not surrendered.
Technically, officially written documentation is my understanding.
So basically just one big it's like one big armistice or treaty.
I don't know exactly how it would be structured.
If I go down there one day, I'll ask.
I don't think. Excuse me. I don't think per se they.
I can't see them surrendering, because here's the thing: Polk County is like where the stories of Florida man will typically originate. And that leads me to believe I'm just going like,
yeah.
Are we crazy people? Are we supposed to be preordained to be crazy people?
Well, I don't
mean crazy as a negative. I mean crazy as
someone
kneeling in the middle of the highway to snort the white lines because they think it's cocaine.
That same meme keeps popping up.
I'm just like, what? What?
Well,
because that explains a lot, actually.
Well, if you have to look at it like this: you have certain groups of people. There's a small percentage of each group,
sure,
that is a little more resistant to domestication, indoctrination, that sort of thing. Yeah. So they go, and those people are basically saying, I can't live specifically according to what I'm being told. So I'm going to go to this region that is the farthest away from this type of influence or control. And then these people come together, and they there's a tribe, a group of people that are descendant of these original people who said, no, I won't be moved.
Yeah.
I won't be consolidated. I won't be indoctrinated. And then they have children. They come together and they create a race or a tribe. So there is a natural, I would imagine,
a natural propensity towards resisting authority?
Yes.
That would explain a lot why I just have general issues with organized religions.
And that sounds like a really simple That sounds like a really simple segue into why you don't appreciate that type of influence. But
yeah,
when you look at if you look at the overall structure of it, you basically are descendant of people that don't compromise.
But I'm a diplomat.
You are a diplomat, but it's
at
like
the core of it, I don't compromise.
Well, it might be the aspect of genetics.
Sure.
There's always a well, look at it like this. Technically you did. I know I didn't get this type of thing necessarily by nurture.
Sure.
There was nothing in my household. Not that. Not that my parents towed the line specifically. And ultimately, I don't know because I was adopted by a different group of people. So I grow up around people who are in the system for the most part. There's still an aspect of we're not sure if we want to go along with this.
Okay, so
and then I find myself being raised in a household that is totally opposite of the way I look at the world.
I see.
So I have to chalk some of that up to nature.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Because that type of nurture, my resistance to things that has fortunately or unfortunately been handed to you and bro, didn't come from
the
nurture. Didn't come from nurture. It must have come from nature.
Sure.
Just to come from a group of people who, when everybody else was falling in line, chose not to.
Yeah.
That's
it does explain why I have issues with large organized religion groups. I don't believe in student loans. Because it tends to lock people into a situation where they have no concept of getting out from under it. No,
they don't. They don't really understand what they're getting involved in.
Yeah, first of all, they're getting into a job field or some kind of field where they may or may not even like.
Well, put it to you like this. You're going to get out of college, depending on what your job, you're basically going to get out of college making somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 a year.
Sure.
But for some reason, when you graduate college, you owe about $200,000.
Yeah, I don't.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't like that.
There's something wrong here.
Yeah, there is. And I'm not saying I'm 100% anti-student loans. No. I mean, if you get a good deal, then you get a good deal, and you can get out from under it. But some people, they just get upped up.
For my generation, it was trading that type of debt for a house.
For a house. Yeah, a house.
Or property.
And that makes sense, because at least you can live in that.
Well, I know it makes sense to someone who has...
But nowadays, that type of debt you get into for basically your life. It's not property where, you could, default and lose the house, go somewhere else, and, pay off a little bit of debt to the bank, I suppose. But this is your life.
Yeah.
You can't, say, hey, I'm not going to be a tax attorney anymore, or something like that.
Right.
And then they basically take your education away, and you see?
No, I do. I don't
get it.
I feel bad for people because they're locked into this.
And it's about to get a whole lot worse. I'm waiting for that
and
crash.
a lot of it has to do with they don't really understand what they're involved in, because if they did, here's the best thing you can do. Okay, if you go to college and you get a student loan, the best thing you can do is when you graduate and you get into the job field, at that point, fight with everything you have to pay that debt off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what happens is people get out of college, they get a degree, they get a job, and then all of a sudden they want to start living the life. They want the house, they want the car, they want that.
They want the boat.
They want the boat, they want the big screen TV.
They want the everything.
They want the everything, and they come straight out of the gate with it. If you do that, and you have that college debt associated with you,
they'll take all that shit.
Yeah, they'll take all of it, or you will carry that debt for the rest of your days.
Yes.
just when you graduate and you get that first job, just start whacking away at that debt.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just get through it.
Year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it takes, just do it.
Do it.
Just do it and knock that debt out. If you do that,
then you're set.
Sure. But if you try to gain, and I know it's tough because you know when you're in college, there comes a tremendous amount of sacrifice. I could have that new car, I could have that new apartment, I could have that new house.
And then as soon as you get out of college, you have to sacrifice more to get out from under the debt.
Get out from under the debt, and then a lot of people aren't that patient.
Yes.
You know, and that's where it, that's where it imprisons people, puts them in bondage. You just go ahead and get it over with. Yes, you're going to have to
miss out on all the fun things.
Miss out on all the fun stuff for another year, 2 years. But
in the end,
if you do lock it down,
you've locked it down,
so to speak.
Yeah.
And knock it out. You knock it out in a year, 2 years. And you see all these articles on the information news cycle, 24-hour news cycle. You'll see all these people that do all this really cool stuff that we're supposed to stand back and stand in awe of.
Sure.
Oh, it's amazing that they did that.
Whatever, dude.
Whatever.
Yeah, don't compare your life to the people on Instagram because that's
really.
That's the highlight reel.
Yeah. And even in a lot of that, and at least 50% of that is untrue anyway.
Oh yeah, it's fabrication.
And not that has, and I just say that related to how people are doesn't have anything to do with the platform in which they're announcing,
indeed,
whatever it is they say they've done.
Yeah. But basically, what had happened at the tea shop was the reason I bring that up is because yes, we are indigenous. But on the one hand, we were raised in the system, quote unquote, not really, being compromisable though. And on the other hand, we weren't necessarily raised on the reservation, so to speak.
No.
But we still had that bloodline in us, so I'm not sure where we stand. But there's a reason I bring this up.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on the subject, but I told them that I was Seminole.
Yeah.
And this was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. They basically mansplained to me how white people are terrible.
Oh, really?
And I was just...
Wait a minute. You were sitting there across from two white people?
Yes. 2 white dudes, even better.
Oh, that is even better.
And we were just having a pleasant conversation. And then as soon as I said I was Seminole in relation to a different conversation, the owner just kind of butts in and says, "Oh, by the way, just I just want to let you know that white people are terrible." And I'm just like, okay.
So he starts virtue signaling in the middle of the conversation. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
You see the power that something like that gives someone who innocently just casually mentioned something.
And then all of a sudden...
imagine someone who is totally bent on controlling the situation based on that. You talk about exploiting something.
Yeah. Exploiting your suffering. He especially didn't like it when I told him that you are not your ancestors because for some reason when I tried to absolve him of whatever guilt he was made to feel, he got indignant.
How dare you not to...
How dare you not cuss me out? It's almost like they were... It's like that same mentality
like you'd gotten him slapped him, he would have paid you some cash.
Yeah, probably. So it was this weird dynamic of I technically wasn't raised on the reservation, but I'm still in the bloodline. And this dumb son of a bitch is trying to have virtue in his basically imposed guilt and suffering.
This was the owner?
Yes.
Oh.
So that basically just told me, like, I think I should keep that whole Indian aspect under my hood, because I'm just like, okay, if you're just gonna claim some sort of weird reverse engineer superiority by doing that, I'm just not gonna talk about it.
Right.
Because it's annoying.
It is annoying. It really is. Because they think they need to, you're having a conversation.
Yes.
And you interject something totally innocent on your part.
Yeah.
That you're really not expecting to sway the discussion one way or the other, or down a particular avenue. No. You
and
just
yet.
toss that out. You could have said, well, I have brown eyes.
Yeah.
Or I have sable hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this person who just happens to be a small business person.
I mean, what am I going to do?
Interject something that in their mind makes them more endeared to you.
I don't know.
Or yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of that. I don't really understand it. No, I'm not one of those guys. Here's why I'm not one of those guys. Blankety blankety blank. I'm not telling you should tell other people to go off. But what I am saying is why do you placate people who you have
strangers?
Strangers. You have any idea how easy it is to be manipulated? If you do that, if you have that frame of mind, it's crazy.
Oh my god.
It's crazy.
I don't get it, but
I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, is it just a matter of dollars and cents where you think that if you don't have this particular mindset, you're going to lose in? Well, I don't know. I mean, cancel culture is huge. Knocking people out.
I was basically trying to tell him he could.
Reviews.
I was trying to tell him he could be cool. You know?
Yeah, just be who you are.
Yeah, I was just trying to tell him that it's okay. Like, I'm not mad at anybody.
I mean, I've met a couple of people I have met and interacted with and spoken with. I could say a couple of names right now, and every single solitary person listening to this now and 20 years in the future would know exactly who I'm talking about. I have interacted with people on that level in a personal way. Because, quote unquote, we were friends. But what I noticed specifically was that although there was a part of them that might have gotten off, quote unquote, on being treated as a god, demigod, honestly and truly, if you want to get to know them, if you want to be involved in that life, you would treat them as you would treat anyone. And that's ultimately what they want. That's ultimately what we all want.
Yeah.
Yes, there are people that cash in those type of characteristics.
Sure. But at the end of the day, you want to be treated like a person.
But you just want to be treated like a human being because that's what you are.
Yes.
It's not that difficult to understand. It's not that difficult. It really isn't.
So, I don't know. It was a weird interaction. We did move past it, but afterwards I kind of quickly tidied up, grabbed my stuff, and left.
That's funny.
And I'm just
and sad.
Like, dude.
It's like, really?
It's like, really?
I don't really understand. To me, I don't really understand why genuflecting to someone who adds that to the conversation. I don't understand. I don't understand where the power is.
I don't either.
And ultimately, the people that they think. Well, I mean, I really can't blame them. They think it's like like the sports teams that are changing their names.
He did bring that up.
Did he?
The Washington Redskins. He said even as a child he didn't like that name. And
you tell me, how is that not pandering?
I know.
How is that not pandering? Okay, as a child, you believe that a particular football, you haven't got the slightest idea of how a particular name or nickname or word impacts anyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a child.
As a child. All right. You are being told that, I mean, I can't help being born where I was born.
No.
I can't help being go home with the two people that wanted me.
Yeah.
I can't help any of that.
I
didn't pick that. I mean, you know, it's amazing to me. To me, someone in that position, if you're going to be a business owner, create the best business you can, create the best service that you can, and then move on.
Yeah.
If there are people that
it's freaking woke people,
it is weird. It is so weird. You know, if you provide a great product or a great service or a great interaction, to me,
yeah,
that should cover all the bases.
Sure.
Because you know. If you're telling me that you need to shape your narrative or shape your activity to appease a certain segment of the population
that don't even shop at your business,
and well, even if they did, I mean, I don't know.
There's only so much pandering people were willing to put up with.
I mean, there just doesn't seem to be any longevity in that
I don't know. There's a reason why the term "go woke, get broke" or whatever, "get woke, go broke" is perpetuating.
If
it was like a one-off thing, like a meme, it would have died out. But it keeps happening.
Yeah, you honestly haven't heard it as much in the last, where are we at? What, 7 months?
Sure, but the last year has just been a bunch of chaos. So,
it really has.
So
and I hope. I hope ultimately everything that's gone on in the last year with the beer flu and the changes of administration.
I hope everything does settle down.
Well, I hope that all people involved take a good look at, from my perspective, per se. There are demographic groups of people that aren't important until the election cycle rolls around.
Yeah.
And, as long as whoever these groups are supporting, per se, politically,
yeah.
As long as these people and that's got to be an interesting dynamic. Mm-hmm. In other words, think about it like this: whatever it is whatever group or individual that you support, as long as they're in control, they don't care about you at all.
Oh, I know.
Okay, but whenever they're not in control, then they're talking to you all the time. Oh, you're being suppressed. Oh, you're being oppressed. Oh, you're not. Whatever it is you think your ideology, however you see the world, is not being valued right now, because the people on the other side are in control. And then when the people that certain groups support get in control, they just forget about them.
Yeah.
They just forget about them. They do. I mean, and that to me personally, that absolutely blows me away. I don't understand. And people say, well, what are you going to do? What I'm saying is there's a through line to everything. There is you've been told that, you are not a part of what's on the other side of the fence, which is ridiculous.
Or whatever.
Because of your gender, or because of your race, or because of your region. That's all garbage. Mm-hmm. Be productive. Everything will work out fine.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't know. It does.
Basically, take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself and your family. And if everybody did that, everything would
work out better.
It would be better than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like, you gotta guard your mental health too.
So
that actually reminds me. Speaking of mental health, There's I don't know how old it is. There's like this therapeutic technique about, you write a letter to a person and you tell this person in the letter all the things you really want to tell them, and then you burn the letter. And I'm like, okay, so that basically means you get all this, I guess, negative energy out of your head, which is beneficial.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Here's my question to whoever invented this. I'm not saying it doesn't help.
Right.
Because I've done it in the past.
Right.
It's how I was able to cope with a lot of things going on.
Right.
Okay, that person is still in your life even though you, quote-unquote, symbolically burned the letter that you wanted to tell them everything. How do you fix the situation with that person?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I don't know, if the person was, like, dead or no longer in your life, and you did this to basically heal yourself from whatever issues or trauma or whatever you want to call it that arose from your interaction together.
Right.
That makes sense. Burn the letter, you symbolically release all of this energy.
Because you don't have...
You don't need to carry that.
Well, yeah, you don't need to carry that if it's based on someone's death or exit, a formal exit from your life.
Yes.
And you want to... maintain a certain level of, I don't know, what's the word, functionality?
I guess functionality, some sort of status quo for your mental health.
Sure.
Because that's important.
But if the person is still alive...
and they're still in your life, how do you fix that?
Just do yourself a favor.
Uh-huh.
Just get you and the other person in a room without any sharp, heavy objects. And just unload on them. Just let it out. One thing I've learned about communication, especially being with the matriarch.
Yes.
Over 3 decades.
Yes.
Is regardless of what anybody tells you, it is ultimately best.
Yes.
To just express how you feel about things.
Yeah.
How you see things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't communicate, if there's any problems, and there's always a problem somewhere. I mean, 2 people trying to live together is 2 people trying to live together. It doesn't have anything to do with gender. It doesn't have anything to do with ideology. It doesn't have anything to do with nothing. Nothing to do with religion.
2 people trying to live together.
2 people trying to coexist in the same space. That's it.
And sometimes that sucks.
Well, that's just a natural interaction between 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, what's the word? I don't have a negative perspective of it.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah.
Yet, it took me a long time to realize that just say what you got to say.
Just say it.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Because I assure you, it won't be worse
if you didn't say it
than if you don't say it and then act or follow a line of activity and behavior that ultimately can be detrimental.
No, I get it. No, I just...
it's like pulling the Band-Aid off. Pull the band, snap it off.
Fair enough.
Don't just slowly pull it off,
Yeah, because sometimes when you don't communicate is, like I did in the past, I completely withdrew from the person involved in the letter because I had no other alternative. There would be months where we didn't speak to each other.
Right.
And I was okay with that because that meant I wasn't getting hurt.
Yeah.
Which, in hindsight, I don't regret because I didn't have any alternative.
Well, I mean,
there was no one that said in order to fix this problem, or book, in order to fix this problem, you must do A, B, C, D, and if that doesn't work, try this. If that doesn't work, try that.
Well, I mean, ultimately, especially when it comes into our relationships with other people.
Sure.
in our interactions with aspects of this world, say like a job. Yeah. Uh, it's okay to accept that there is a season.
Yeah.
And
every job has, or everything has
everything has a season. So with, say, a job, maybe you're not meant to be in this job any longer. Say with another person,
yeah,
you are not meant to be with this person. You had your time together.
Yeah,
it's just like me playing sports in high school.
Sure.
There comes a day when that, even if I was able to pursue it to the next few levels.
Yeah.
So let's just say football.
Yeah.
I was a top recruit, college. There are at least two levels above me, which is college and professional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That are involved in the sport that I played. And there will come a day, regardless of what level that day arrives, there will come a day that season will end.
Yeah.
Now,
it doesn't make it good or bad.
No, it doesn't make it good or bad. No, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, relationships, obviously, we have a tendency to see it a different light. I can tell you from personal experience, to be involved in what I would define as a negative aspect of a relationship can last for a very long time. But if you have to be able to, and this is something I would tell anybody, you have to be able to see through that aspect of people that can be dysfunctional.
Yes.
To see the other person is actually who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, especially when it comes to two people trying to get along, you're dealing with a lot of things that don't have anything to do with you.
Yeah, no, I know.
When you catch
the four agreements.
Yeah, when you catch,
don't take anything personal.
Don't take it personal.
No.
And if you can, and I can tell you from my experience, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And I took it personal, and that causes hurt, and that causes pain.
Yeah.
And that caused me to react to what I was dealing with in negative choices.
Sure.
For the relationship. But if you can get to a point, and ultimately I did, if you can get to a point that you understand that who you are spending time with, now if they're hurting you, and you'll be able to figure this out.
Sure.
There's a difference between hurting you because of who they are, or
hurting you for the sake of hurting
you for the sake of hurting you.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There is a big difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have to fully forgive or overlook what the other person is doing that is hurting you.
No, I figure.
Because ultimately, I believe that there is someone out there for everybody. And if you're involved in a situation where someone is not appreciating you,
sure,
that's
not good either.
Well, it's not good, and I don't see where people. I don't have a problem with people looking at other avenues, but I guess it has a lot. I guess it has a lot to do with. It really isn't a matter of love. You can't force another person to love you.
No.
And the way you love them.
Yeah.
And you just have to get to a point where in tolerating a certain level of dysfunctional activity, you can sink yourself. And ultimately, you have to do what is best
for you.
For you.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
your peace of mind comes first.
It really
like
does.
Other
because
people's
even
peace
if
of mind comes first for them.
Yeah, because if you don't,
or it should come
put
first
those
for them.
types of things on the back burner. Sooner or later they will swell up and consume you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're not going to run. Everybody that you have a relationship with is not going to clearly understand that.
No.
No, they're not.
No, I always had the idea of giving, say, the person in the past the letter, because I communicate better through the written word versus talking anyway.
And a lot of times people are able to receive the written word
easier. Almost like a formal letter.
I mean, you try to, certain things that you're very passionate about, speak about particular items or subject matter that might involve a situation in which you were personally hurt.
Sure.
It's hard to keep enough emotion out of that.
Yes.
So the person you're talking to will fully understand what you're expressing.
No, I get that. No, I'm just saying, writing that down and handing it to them, it can feel cold, but...
To me, the fact that you would express it in any format is not cold.
No, I just mean writing it down and handing it to them versus talking. And I'm like...
To me, I don't see that as cold. I don't see that as unemotional. I don't see that if that's what it takes,
sure,
for them to get to receive what it is you're saying, then that's what it takes.
Fair enough.
I've said with you, I've said with other people in my life, I have, when I really wanted to get across something to some people, I have written it down.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I'm very passionate about something, I have a tendency to be, for lack of a better description, heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it that way, but, ultimately I seek a solution.
Yeah.
And
sometimes emotion can cloud the judgment.
Sometimes emotion can cloud what I'm presenting.
Yeah.
And the person who I am presenting to, depending on my tone and interaction, can put up a wall and not receive anything that I'm saying.
Yeah.
But sometimes if I can write it down, there's no obvious emotion involved.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The person.
It's like you're handing over a petition.
Yeah, it's like the person that I'm talking to can gain information that ultimately, at least in its initial presentation, can be appreciated as is.
Yeah.
And sometimes that emotion, especially something that's you find really important to you, you have a passion about it that you don't have the
it can send kind of mixed
ability
signals.
To suppress. Yes, it can present mixed signals.
Yeah.
But if you can sit down and write to someone, that seems to
work.
Seems to work.
I don't know. I just remember. I just remembered it the other day, and I went, "What do you do if there's a person in your life and you don't really have a solid way of telling them to stop being a fuck up?"
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Other than hold on and try to stay afloat when the ship sinks.
Oh yeah.
That's all you can do.
Excuse me. Oh, that's basically all I can do. Really.
Well, sometimes all you can do with people, some people can get on these very intense self-destructive activities and paths.
Yeah.
And all you can, and if you find that they're worth it, or you have something involved. In other words, if you're just two people,
sure,
versus a couple that say has children. Yeah, if you have some kind of mutual investment,
sure,
you will overlook certain things because you are looking at the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just two people, what I'm saying is that, you know, if you don't have any mutual investment, say children or, you know, whatever you want to add.
Never get a joint bank account.
Property, the dog. Then you know,
it's always the dog.
You really aren't tied into something you can't get out from under.
As a rule,
and you need to understand that if you're in that situation, that you're basically going through a trial and error mode, and you are just looking for that person that suits you, that fits you. Basically, when you were trying to fight to fit yourself to someone else. Give them credit for trying to fight to fit themselves to you. And if there is this continuous, tumultuous type of situation, then consider that your life is meant to be
somewhere else. Yeah, I definitely believe in the whole, like, we can have the meeting, the quote-unquote come to Jesus meeting.
Right.
And we can, you know, negotiate and talk to each other like normal human beings.
Yeah.
However, if the problems that were addressed in the initial come to Jesus meeting are not resolved by the next time you have to have a come to Jesus meeting, it's probably time to go.
Yeah. And you have to give yourself permission to operate in that manner. You may be, and it's quite common that you're dealing with someone that doesn't see the world, because obviously if you were dealing with someone that saw the world the same way you did, you wouldn't have as many issues. You wouldn't have this crossroads.
No. All the time. Yeah. You can have a crossroads.
Which, you know, I mean,
couples fight.
That is an element of self-discovery.
Yeah. No, couples fight. It is normal to have crossroads in relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
People, be it, you know, personal or otherwise.
Right.
It's when you keep having the crossroad over and over again.
Then you realize you're dealing with something that you
probably should just stay away from.
Probably, ultimately.
Yeah.
You know, and that happens.
Yeah.
And you can't beat yourself up over that.
No, don't.
You know, and I used to. I'll be honest with you. There were some things going on in my past.
Yeah.
That had to do with other people or another person, and I just beat myself up. I was like, how can I be better? How can I do this better?
Yeah, this is why I tell people to read the 4 Agreements.
Yeah. And what I began to realize was ultimately the problem that I was dealing with really didn't have anything to do with me, but it had consumed the other person to the point that it was making me not to want to be involved.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you reach a crossroads where you have to step away from someone, that's just life.
Yeah, that's just life.
That's just life.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, well.
It doesn't mean they're bad, doesn't mean you're bad.
No.
It just means that, you know, you're not.
It's life.
It's life. You're not necessarily meant to be together. And that's not well, because see, here's the other thing. You may say, you know, once you realize you're not supposed to be with this other person, and the other person that's all they can focus on is being with you, then what you have to ultimately understand is if you're not supposed to be with them, then ultimately they're not meant to be with you.
Sure.
So for you to continue this dysfunctional relationship, you are not only keeping yourself from who you're supposed to be with, but you are also keeping the other person from who they're supposed to be.
No, I get that. Yeah. I've just always had this personally now, this personal hang up of every time I either would date somebody or I would try to date somebody, I can usually gather within, the shortest it's been is just like a day, the longest it's been is probably 3 months.
Right.
Where I can kind of gather and go, this is not the person I'm meant to be with.
Right.
But somehow I always find a reason to stay, either due to either some kind of relationship commitment or, one-time boredom. I had nothing else better to do.
Well, you have to look at things. You have to understand how you're wired.
Sure. I'm just saying that every relationship I personally have been in, this aspect of logic just jumps out and goes, not this one.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there going, I know you're right, and I know you're right, this aspect of myself, but how the fuck am I going to explain this? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, no, and there really is no way to explain it to another person. But what I will tell you, from personal experience, if you're meant to be with somebody, you'll end up with them.
Sure.
Period.
Yeah.
And if you're not, so this whole thing of, oh, I'm worried about taking a break. Take a break.
Yeah, take a break.
Take a break.
Yeah.
If you're meant to be with them, it'll
take a break anyway.
It'll resurface.
Yeah.
And if you're not meant to be with them, it won't. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it's pretty much that's it.
Seems reasonable.
Because ultimately, I feel if you're with somebody you're not supposed to be with, there
will be this aspect of yourself that will reject it.
Yeah,
I have learned,
and there will be this aspect of the other person that if they can find anybody,
sure,
to fill your space. They will.
They will.
They will.
They will.
Okay. If you're meant to be with a person, you'll be with them. If you're not meant to be with a person, you won't be. That's it. Okay. If someone else can fill that void,
sure,
for lack of a better description, you'll find that person who will fill that void. And if you're supposed to be with them, you will not find any other avenue, any other path that makes sense to you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems reasonable.
It's not really complex. It really isn't.
We just make it complex.
Well, yeah, we do.
As human beings, we tend to overcomplicate things.
Well, we overcomplicate things because our emotions get involved, and there's nothing wrong with that per se.
No.
But if you find yourself overcompensating for another person or their actions that you find dysfunctional,
yes,
you're not supposed to be with them. Ultimately, you'll find your way away.
Yeah, you'll find a reason to get out.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And if you're supposed to be with them, you'll end up with them regardless. So honestly and truly, that takes kind of the stress out of it.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're meant to be with them, you'll be with them. If you're not meant to be with them, you won't be with them. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's an oversimplification.
Sure, I'm just like, if I've learned anything the past couple months is that I'm just going, why do we overcomplicate these things? It's like the man who wants to discover who he is.
Yeah.
He goes to a guru and says, how can I learn who I am? And this guru says to him, stand or sit in front of a mirror and ask yourself this question over and over again until you get an answer. Who am I? Yeah. Who am I?
Who am I?
This man decides, this ain't working. Or right. he just basically shrugs off this advice. He goes to the next guru he finds. And he asks him the same question. This guru tells him, "Oh, you must become an apprentice with my sect or whatever they want to call it. You know, brush the horses, clean out the stables, do hard labor in the fields."
Right.
So after about 5 years of doing this man was no closer to figuring out who he was after 5 years than he was when he first started.
Yeah.
And he goes to the guru and he says, "Oh, sir, I have done all of these hard labor intensive chores for you for 5 years. You know, please tell me, what's the next step?" The guru says to him, "Stand or sit in front of a mirror and ask yourself this question over and over again until you get the answer. Who am I? Who am I?" The man replies, "Sir, the guru 5 years ago, the other guru said the exact same thing. If this is truly the way, then why did you let me do 5 years of chores?" And this guru said, "Because you're stupid."
Because you're stupid.
Because you're stupid.
You wouldn't accept it any other way.
Yes.
And there is value in understanding that.
Yes.
You wouldn't receive it any other way. It's kind of like, honestly and truly, when people get to a certain age and are like, "Oh, I should have done this 2 years ago. I should have done this 5 years ago." You know, if you were ready to do it then, you would have done it then. You would have done it.
Yeah, it's not
so
a matter...
regretting the steps that you have taken in your past is completely valueless.
Yeah,
you weren't ready.
Yeah, you weren't ready.
And it's not a deficit.
No.
It's like saying I'm really pissed off because I didn't get my driver's license when I was 12 years old. Well, you know what? There's a reason that you get your driver's license at 15 and 16 years old as versus to 12 years old.
Yes.
Because as the average person, now I personally, you are and I am, is my cousin, your second cousin, who grew up with his grandfather, your great-grandfather, driving a tractor. So by the time he reached the age of 12, he could drive. He could manhandle a car, just by growing up on his grandfather's farm.
Yeah.
Okay, just by driving a tractor and helping out his grandfather. But by the time he was 12, 13, 14 years old, he could manhandle a car. Mm-hmm. That is the 1%. Okay, there's the 99%. If you're in that 1%, sure.
Good for you.
But good for you. But the rest of us, the other 99%, we have to wait. We don't get that type of instruction that early enough.
Not all of us grows up on a farm.
No. So, it's better that we don't get our driver's license till we're 16 years old. It doesn't mean that you are, I mean, it might be mentally, it might be physically able. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's experience. Combination of things.
But the fact of the matter is that the average person, if you didn't,
they can't get their driver's license at 12.
Yeah, you can't get your driver's license at 12. There's a reason for it.
Yes.
Okay, you just haven't developed mentally, you haven't developed physically. It doesn't mean you're in deficit.
No.
And ultimately, if somebody matures to that level earlier, it doesn't mean that they're more or they're greater. Mm-hmm. These are just situational.
That's it.
That's it.
You were just ready.
Yeah,
that's it.
So, accept it when it arrives. And don't beat yourself up.
No. Because everything will happen when it's supposed to happen.
Everything will happen when it's supposed to happen, ultimately.
What else is there?
What else is there?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's... and, my heart goes out. I used to be the same way. I was like, oh, I should have figured this out years ago. Oh, I should... You got to let that go.
Yeah, you got to let it go.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of things, is the crypto market better?
I think it's stabilized.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out, do I need to get back in? Do we need to get back in?
Oh, I got enough money in right now. I'm just waiting.
Okay.
I think something's going to break soon, but it may be to the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I know. I'm just happy I have a planned dream job.
Well, and I have a job that drains me physically and mentally that I'm getting ready to transition out of.
please, for the love of God.
So once I transition
look, I literally don't care what you do. As long as you're not getting up at ass o'clock in the morning anymore.
Man, ass o'clock in the morning, it is just
if you were my age, I would be like, drink some coffee, bitch.
It's tough. Man, it's tough to
Dude, but here's the thing. You can do it, but you don't want to do it.
There is no natural, other than being in the military, there's no natural reason to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Just isn't. Isn't.
And even then, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning in the military, there's a reason why they make you do stupid shit.
Yeah, even if you're a morning person.
Yes, you don't want to be up at 4 in the morning.
Which I am not.
No, I'm not either. I'm a sort of kind of morning person. I don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, no one wants to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, put it to you like this. When you go to bed, these types of jobs are tough. As soon as you wake up, you storm the bathroom. Because you got to get in there, you got to brush your teeth.
Yeah, there's no taking it easy.
Take your medicine and blah, 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 get dressed. Fucking hit the car so you can get to work on time.
Yeah.
If you wake up, see, the people that wake up and can kind of take a breath.
Yeah.
Get up.
Sure.
I'm not saying you have to eat a meal, but some people can get up and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I guess.
And then.
I guess it comes down to whether or not you're being rushed versus if you're allowed to take your time.
Right.
Breathe.
When I wake up for my job, I wake up, I have to hit the floor running.
And that sucks.
And who in the hell wants a morning job that they have to get up and hit the floor running?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Not all the time.
Not all the time. Not every time.
Not every time.
And that's a drain on me.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a morning person, but even if I was a morning person.
You at least want to enjoy the morning.
You at least want to experience it. But no, I wake up in darkness and I leave the house in darkness. And that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
But I'm under the impression that that's transitioning, so we'll work on
good.
that.
Yeah, like I said, I literally don't care what it is. Just do something else.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting.
Okay. For what?
No, for the next job. I'm like you. I think I'm in transition now.
Oh yeah.
The job that I was supposed to get a year ago.
Yeah.
Fell through. Because of the beer flu and changes in the structure of my company. So now that things have stabilized, that job has come back around.
Do it.
Well, I am. I've already put in an application. I've already talked to the people that I'm supposed to talk to.
They can't not hire you. You're basically a field veteran of the RN community.
That is true.
Seriously.
That is true. As long as I am in good standing with the state.
You should be.
I am.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, why would you not hire the person that knows how to do their job better than the other 6 people?
Yes.
You know, I'm just saying, like, you could literally have the job where you just sit at a desk and every time it's like, hey, how do we fix this? You're just like, shh, here, do this.
Your mom does, the patriarch does that a lot.
The matriarch?
Yeah, she has a lot of experience in what she's involved in.
Yeah, that is true.
So they kind of default to her.
Okay.
She gets a big kick out of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that kind of was my job at the warehouse until they fucked me.
Yeah.
But, so I'm having to start from scratch again.
That's all right.
And then I'm going to start from scratch again. But that time, I will be somewhat
But look where you are. I mean,
I'm in the AC.
You are experiencing life right now.
Yeah.
That I've been waiting for so long. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Once again, we talk about, hey.
You're ready for it when you're ready for it.
You're ready for it when you're ready for it. And don't beat yourself up.
No.
Please don't.
I don't. I think part of it for me with the whole, like, experiencing life is just, I think at first I just needed someone to come with me the first couple times out into the wild. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sure.
You know, it's like matriarch, she's doing stuff, and oftentimes she doesn't want to walk.
Right.
And I like to walk,
right.
For an example.
Sure.
You're busy with, getting up at ass o'clock in the morning, getting trained from the job. So I tend to leave you alone.
Right.
Bro is somewhere else.
Right.
And even then, he probably doesn't want to hang with me that often, as much as I want to leave the house.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm happy with the current group of game night people and all that.
I understand.
So...
And you've cultivated those relationships.
Yeah. So that's basically what's up, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So...
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
You're ready when you're ready.
Yeah. Now, I'm not willing to go super out of my way.
Yeah.
You know, like, directly into, like, in next 3 states over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go do that by myself.
Right.
I wouldn't even have the time to do that by myself.
When you would be involved in activity that's really being defined by someone else.
Yeah, or there's something that I want. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I don't know. Gary Newman is holding a concert in Atlanta. I'm going.
Sure.
No one's going to stop me.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that, I usually have to have a goal.
Yeah. That helps.
Yeah. So.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. So, you know, yesterday was definitely more along the lines of a little bit formless, a little bit directionless.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. To be able to strike out into those areas alone,
yeah,
there is a power to that.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't possess that. Doesn't make you better or worse, just makes you different. You know.
No, I understand that.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this was a little bit of a wild roller coaster.
A little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. You good?
Actually, yeah, I'm good.
All right, I'm good. All right.
I got a lot on my mind.
No, me too.
That I can't talk about.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's it, folks. I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your co-host, Mr. Scratch.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Bye.
Goodbye.